Hey everyone. This is Six Path Weeb, welcome to my YouTube channel. Here, we explore creative anime fanfiction and deep what-if scenarios. Today's video continues our story with What If Naruto's Sharingan Was White? Part 2, where we push the boundaries of canon and imagine how one change could reshape the entire Naruto universe. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer, all content on this channel is for entertainment and discussion purposes only. I do not own any anime footage used in my videos. Full rights and credit belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. With that said, let's get started. The nine-tailed fox was known across the world as a powerful and intimidating presence, yet even he struggled with his greatest challenge of the morning, waking Naruto from a deep sleep. This kid could sleep through a thunderstorm, the fox grumbled from within. If he does not get up soon, he will miss his meeting. The fox waited patiently, hoping Naruto would wake on his own. When nothing happened, he tried something else. Instead of loud noises or alarms, he sent gentle but distracting thoughts into Naruto's mind, visions of training success, friendly faces, and exciting future goals. That did the trick. Naruto bolted upright, wide awake. "Fox, that was not fair," Naruto said with a yawn, though a smile tugged at his face. "You are awake, which was the goal," the fox replied calmly. "Now get ready. Your team will be waiting." As Naruto dressed, his thoughts turned serious. He had been thinking a lot about how to improve his fighting style, his focus, and how to become stronger without losing himself. "Hey," Naruto said quietly, "we need to talk later. I have been thinking about my training." "We will," the fox answered. "After today. One step at a time." Naruto nodded and headed out toward training ground 7. When Naruto arrived, the field was empty. "That is strange," he thought. "I must be early." Rather than wait, he began warming up. He ran, stretched, and practiced basic exercises to prepare his body. Once ready, he focused on chakra control, carefully balancing a leaf while walking across water. After a long session, Naruto shifted to taijutsu practice. He concentrated on precision, timing, and control. His special eyes were still unfamiliar, but he was slowly learning how to adapt. Everything appeared clearer and slower, and he knew mastering this ability would take patience. "Sensei could probably help me with this," Naruto thought. Lost in concentration, he did not notice his team arrive. When he finally looked up, he found Kakashi, Sakura, and Sasuke watching him with curiosity. "There you are, Naruto," Kakashi said lightly. "We were looking for you." Naruto quickly relaxed his eyes and smiled. "I have been here the whole time. Where did you all go?" Kakashi chuckled. "We took a short detour. Next time, do not oversleep." He leaned closer to Naruto and said quietly, "We will talk later." Naruto understood. He created a shadow clone to train with the team and quietly headed off toward the Hokage Tower. Inside the tower, Naruto stood tall. "Gigi, we need to talk," he said respectfully. The Hokage listened carefully as Naruto shared his observations. He spoke honestly but thoughtfully, explaining the strengths and struggles of his team. He did not speak out of anger, but concern. "They have potential," Naruto said. "But they need guidance and trust to grow." The Hokage leaned back, considering this. "You may be right. Growth comes from challenge, but also support." Naruto nodded. "If you give them the chance, I believe they can improve. Kakashi can guide them, and I will do my part too." After a moment, the Hokage smiled. "I have just the assignment in mind." Naruto left the tower feeling hopeful. Today was not just about training, it was about becoming someone others could rely on. And that, he knew, was the path forward. Naruto walked quietly toward training ground 7, the moon resting high above him like a watchful lantern. Its pale light stretched across the open field, making the trees and stones look calm and still. "I'm glad you decided to come," Kakashi said as he stepped out from behind a tree, his voice relaxed but attentive. "Now I want you to explain your abilities, your chakra control, and your eyes." Naruto raised an eyebrow. "Before we talk, maybe put that tool away," he said calmly. "I don't want this to turn into something unnecessary." Kakashi responded by tossing the object forward, testing Naruto's reaction. In a smooth motion, Naruto drew his blade and moved with impressive speed. His special eyes activated, glowing softly as he focused. Metal met metal at the center of the field, sparks flashing briefly before fading. Naruto quickly noticed something important. Kakashi was watching closely, but not pressing forward. This was not a real confrontation. It was a lesson. With a firm push, Naruto stepped back and lowered his weapon. "You know," he said, crossing his arms, "it's hard to tell when you're serious." Kakashi smiled beneath his mask. "I wanted to see how you move, how you think, and how you use your eyes. You've learned a lot on your own, but there's still more to master." Naruto sighed. "I didn't exactly have guidance. I had to figure things out quietly." "I know," Kakashi replied gently. "That's why I'm here now. I've seen your potential for a long time." After a moment of silence, Naruto began to share his story. He spoke about his training, his struggles, and how he awakened his abilities through patience and determination. Later that night, Naruto headed home, lost in thought. When he turned the corner, he stopped. His apartment building was gone, replaced by glowing embers and quiet observers. An elderly man stood nearby, calm and steady. "Gigi. My home," Naruto said softly. "I know," the old man replied. "I made this choice so you could finally go where you truly belong." Naruto looked confused, but the man smiled warmly. "It's time you learned the truth." Inside the Hokage's office, they sat across from one another. A set of papers rested on the desk. "These belong to you," the Hokage said. "A home, belongings from your parents, and everything they wished for you to have." Naruto's hands trembled slightly as he read. One question mattered more than all the others. "Did they care about me?" The Hokage nodded. "Very much. They believed in you completely." He explained that the truth had been kept until Naruto was ready. Naruto listened carefully, his heart steady despite the weight of the moment. His mother had been skilled and kind, known for her balance and wisdom. She left behind her teachings and a blade meant to protect, never to harm without reason. Her name was Kushina Uzumaki. Tears filled Naruto's eyes, but he stood tall. "And my father?" he asked. The Hokage smiled proudly. "Your father was Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage. A man who protected others and believed deeply in hope." Naruto sat quietly, letting the words settle. A letter was placed in his hands. It spoke of love, sacrifice, and faith in the future. It reminded Naruto that he was never alone, even when he felt lost. As he folded the letter, Naruto felt something new, not sadness, but strength. For the first time, he understood where he came from. And where he was going. Naruto held the letter carefully, his hands steady even though his heart felt full. "My dear son," the letter began. "I want you to know that you are loved more than words can say. You may wonder why I chose you to carry such a great responsibility. I made this choice because I believe that true leadership means never asking others to do something you would not accept yourself. If I could not trust my own child with this duty, then I could not ask anyone else." The writing grew fainter. "I do not have much time, but I have left behind scrolls that hold my most important techniques. One teaches the Rasengan, and the other contains the Hiraishin technique. Along with these, everything your mother and I owned is now yours. Our home, our savings, and our hopes for your future. You deserve a life filled with kindness and purpose." The final words were barely readable. "You may not always be understood, but remember this, Naruto. You were chosen because of your strength and your heart. I am proud of you, always." The rest of the page had faded, as though the writer had been interrupted before finishing. Naruto lowered the letter and took a quiet breath. "Gigi," he said gently, "may I have the scrolls now? And could you also bring me my mother's sword?" Sarutobi nodded and handed him the items with care. As he did, the old leader made a thoughtful decision, one that would shape Naruto's future in a kinder way. "Come with me," Sarutobi said. "There is somewhere important you should see." They walked together, the forest calm and peaceful. Naruto slowly realized where they were heading as tall trees opened into a hidden clearing. There, surrounded by greenery, stood a large house, warm and welcoming despite its quiet appearance. "This is your home," Sarutobi said. "Your parents had it built when they dreamed of raising a family. Your father lived simply and kept many things private. Your mother came from the Uzumaki clan, known for their remarkable sealing skills and wisdom." Naruto listened closely, absorbing every word. "Your parents believed in growth, learning, and protecting others," Sarutobi continued. "Those values live on in you." Naruto nodded. "Gigi, I have a request. I would like help learning what's in these scrolls. And I want Kakashi to come here." "That can be arranged," Sarutobi replied with a smile. Later, Kakashi arrived, surprised to see the house and his student waiting with the Hokage. You're here to guide Naruto, Sarutobi explained. Help him understand his abilities, his talents, and how to grow responsibly. There will be a mission in the future, and preparation matters. Kakashi agreed, taking the responsibility seriously. That evening, Naruto explored his home. There were many rooms, a training space, and a peaceful garden with a pond that reflected the stars. It felt safe. It felt like it belonged to him. Standing in the quiet yard, Naruto focused. Let's begin, he said calmly, ready to train, learn, and become someone worthy of the love left behind for him. Team 7 sat together in their newest favorite place to eat, a cozy restaurant Kakashi had discovered. It served a cheerful mix of sushi, warm baked treats, and hearty meals. The air was filled with pleasant aromas that made everyone feel relaxed and welcome. Kakashi leaned back slightly and spoke in a calm, thoughtful voice. It has been 3 weeks since you became a team, and nearly a week since your new training routine began. In that short time, you have grown closer and learned how to trust one another. That is what truly makes a team strong. He was right. Many things had changed. Naruto's special eyes were no longer a secret, shared openly so that trust could grow between teammates. Sasuke had learned to open up and let go of old anger, choosing instead to focus on teamwork and friendship. Sakura had moved beyond her early crushes and worked hard to become a capable kunoichi, even developing new techniques to help others recover when they were hurt or tired. Naruto, for his part, had finally found something he always wanted, a place where he belonged. He was still playful and full of energy, but now he laughed more easily and looked out for the people around him. After they finished eating, Kakashi stood. All right, everyone. Let's head to the Hokage's office and see what kind of mission awaits us today. As they walked through the village streets, Naruto and Sasuke quietly turned their walk into a friendly awareness game. I notice a bird resting on a roof ahead, Naruto said with a grin. I can sense several skilled ninja nearby, Sasuke replied calmly. Naruto smiled wider. And I can tell we are being watched carefully, just as part of village safety. Sakura sighed, though she was smiling too. You two really never stop, do you? Sasuke, after the mission, maybe we can have dinner together. That sounds nice, Sasuke answered. Suddenly, an Anbu agent wearing a cat-shaped mask appeared briefly to pass a message. Naruto greeted her politely, and she waved goodbye before heading off on her assignment. Sasuke chuckled. You really do meet interesting people. Naruto laughed. Everyone has their own story. When they reached the Hokage Tower, Kakashi reminded them to stay focused. Inside, the Hokage greeted them warmly and began discussing available missions. Naruto spoke up respectfully, asking if they could try something a little more challenging to continue growing as a team. After Kakashi confirmed his confidence in them, the Hokage nodded. Very well. You will escort a bridge builder to his homeland and remain there until his work is complete. The bridge builder, Tazuna, entered the room and looked surprised to see such a young team. He spoke doubtfully at first, but Naruto calmly stepped forward. Please don't judge us by appearances, Naruto said firmly. We take our responsibilities seriously. Sasuke and Sakura stood beside him, steady and confident. Kakashi added gently, this team has earned my trust. Tazuna paused, then nodded. All right. I understand. With the mission set, the Hokage dismissed them. As they left, Sakura quietly mentioned that Tazuna seemed nervous. Kakashi agreed but reminded them to stay professional and prepared. 1 hour at the North Gate, Kakashi said. Get ready. Team 7 stepped outside together, ready to face their next challenge as a united group, stronger than they had ever been before. With Sasuke. The quiet halls of the Uchiha home echoed softly as Sasuke walked through them alone. He stopped in front of a framed picture resting on a shelf. In the image were 2 kind-looking adults smiling warmly, standing beside 2 young boys. They were Fugaku and Mikoto Uchiha, his parents, captured in a moment filled with love and peace. Sasuke stared at the picture for a long time, his thoughts heavy but calm. He placed a hand over his heart, remembering the lessons they had taught him about honor and strength. A gentle voice interrupted his thoughts. Sasuke, holding on to anger will only make your heart heavier. Sasuke turned quickly, surprised to see his teammate standing behind him. Naruto? How did you get here without me noticing? Naruto scratched the back of his head and smiled. I followed you. That's part of being a ninja, you know. And also, I wanted to talk. Sasuke said nothing, so Naruto continued. I know you've been through a lot. But you're not alone anymore. You've got me, Sakura, and Kakashi-sensei. We're your team. That means something. Sasuke looked away, unsure how to respond. Naruto stepped toward the door. I have to go pack. But remember this, okay? He paused. You had a family who loved you. I didn't grow up with that. With that, Naruto left quietly. Flashback, 1 month earlier. Sasuke, why do you train so hard all the time? Naruto asked. You wouldn't understand, Sasuke replied. I lost everything. Naruto shook his head gently. You're right. I don't know what that feels like. I never had anyone to lose. People treated me differently for reasons I didn't understand. Sasuke frowned. What do you mean? Just watch how people act when we walk through the village together, Naruto said. Someday, when we're closer as a team, I'll explain. Naruto walked away, leaving Sasuke deep in thought. Back to the present. Naruto, Sasuke said the next day, what did you mean about the villagers? Naruto smiled kindly but shook his head. I'm not ready to talk about that yet. But, thank you for asking. He left with a soft breeze following him. With Sakura. Sakura tied her headband and smiled at her mother. I'm heading out on a mission for a couple of weeks, she said. I'll be back before you know it. Before any more words could be exchanged, Sakura stepped outside and made her way toward the north gate, excited to meet her teammates. With Naruto. Naruto carefully packed his supplies in his small home. Food, clothes, training notes, and scrolls, he said to himself. I'll keep practicing while we're away. A familiar inner voice reminded him not to forget the extra scrolls meant to help him grow stronger and wiser. Naruto nodded. All right, I'll bring them. Once finished, he headed out, feeling ready for the journey ahead. Team 7 reunites. Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto arrived at the north gate together, quickly noticing their teacher was missing. Moments later, Kakashi appeared, apologizing cheerfully for the delay as their client followed behind him, clearly tired from travel. Naruto wrinkled his nose slightly but stayed polite, focusing instead on the mission. On the road. As they traveled, Kakashi quietly observed his students, pleased to see Naruto and Sasuke staying alert. Sakura noticed his thoughtful look and resolved to improve her awareness. Suddenly, the team sensed danger nearby. Kakashi calmly stepped forward, signaling the students to stay focused. Instead of panic, teamwork took over. Sasuke, Naruto, Kakashi said, remember your training. Naruto nodded confidently. Got it. Naruto's moment. Naruto faced his challenge with steady breathing and a clear mind. For the first time, he truly understood how much he had grown. His awareness sharpened, and he trusted both his training and his instincts. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, he said with determination. And I fight to protect my friends. Using skill and creativity rather than force, Naruto adapted to his opponent's defenses, learning that strength came from thinking, not anger. When the encounter ended, Naruto stood tall, not proud of overpowering anyone, but proud that he stayed true to himself. Closing note. The mission continued, and with every step forward, Team 7 grew closer. Sasuke began to see that strength did not come from holding on to pain, Sakura learned the value of awareness, and Naruto proved that kindness and perseverance could shine even in difficult moments. Their journey was not just about becoming stronger ninja, but about becoming better people, together. As the two opposing elements met, a warm cloud of steam slowly spread across the field. The air grew hazy, and the world around Naruto faded into pale shadows. As the mist thickened, Naruto realized he could no longer rely on his special vision to guide him. A calm but confident voice echoed through the fog. Welcome to the hidden mist technique. It makes sight unreliable and forces you to think creatively. At the height of the mist, Gozu made his move. Swift motions followed, mixing careful martial techniques with controlled streams of water energy. Naruto focused hard, blocking what he could, but the pressure was mounting. Naruto took a steady breath. This fog is limiting my senses, he thought. But there's still another way. He centered himself and carefully formed the hand signs for a powerful wind technique he had practiced many times. Gathering his energy with discipline, Naruto released the jutsu. Wind style, Black Wind Hurricane. A strong rush of wind spiraled outward, lifting the mist and clearing the battlefield. Leaves swirled through the air as the fog dissolved, revealing the open ground once more. The powerful gusts gently swept Gozu away from the fight, leaving him safely pinned against a tree, unable to continue. Naruto stood at the center of the clearing, breathing deeply. "That took a lot out of me," he said quietly. As his energy faded, Kakashi appeared beside him and offered support, helping him stay on his feet and guiding him back toward camp. "You pushed yourself pretty hard," Kakashi said kindly. "But you stayed focused and protected everyone. That matters." Naruto nodded. He was much stronger than expected. Something helped increase their skills. Kakashi listened carefully. "We'll talk more about it with the others." 4x. Back at camp, Naruto rejoined Tazuna, Sakura, and Sasuke. Nearby, Maizu sat securely restrained, clearly unable to cause further trouble. "That technique earlier," Sasuke said, impressed, "it was powerful." Naruto rubbed the back of his head. "Thanks. Where's the other one?" "He was knocked away by the wind and won't be interfering anymore," Sasuke replied. Naruto blinked. "So how did you stop your opponent?" "He was pushed close enough that I could disarm him with one clean strike," Sasuke explained. "The strange armor didn't hold up like he expected." Naruto sighed, half amazed and half frustrated. "Guess teamwork really does change everything." Kakashi stepped forward. "Let's focus. We need answers." Before questions could begin, Maizu suddenly activated a hidden escape seal, causing him to lose consciousness and preventing further discussion. Kakashi turned to Tazuna. "It's time you told us the full story. These attackers were clearly after you." Tazuna explained the troubles facing his village and how a powerful figure named Gato had been causing fear and hardship. After listening carefully, the team made a decision together. "We'll help," Naruto said with determination. "No one should face problems alone." That evening, the group set up camp. They shared a quiet, simple meal under the open sky, resting and preparing for the challenges ahead. Naruto was the first awake, a habit he had developed since becoming part demon. Since that day, rest came easily to him, and long hours of sleep were no longer necessary. He now sat quietly in the branches of a tall tree, watching the land stretch out before him. Far away, a half-finished bridge reached across the water toward a quiet, worn-down town. A strange whisper echoed in his thoughts. "Come and find me. There is more you can learn." Naruto stiffened. "Kyuubi, was that you?" The voice returned, calm but persistent. "You sense it too. Curiosity is not weakness, Naruto." Naruto frowned. Whatever that was, it felt different. "I need to understand it." Before he could think further, Kakashi's voice drifted up from below. "You know, Naruto," Kakashi said lightly, "people who stare at the sky usually have something important on their mind." Naruto scratched the back of his head. "This might sound strange, Kakashi-sensei, but I keep hearing a voice that doesn't belong." Kakashi studied him carefully. "Then we'll talk about it once we reach Tazuna's house. You don't have to figure it out alone." That simple reassurance helped more than Naruto expected. The group later approached the bridge and crossed the river by boat. The ride was quiet, and everyone stayed close together. Even Naruto, usually restless, sensed that something about the air had changed. When they reached the far shore, Kakashi raised a hand. "Stay alert. We're not alone." Suddenly, a large object struck a tree nearby with a loud thud, stopping everyone in their tracks. A tall figure appeared, standing confidently above the ground. His voice carried across the clearing. "So we meet again, Kakashi Hatake." Kakashi stepped forward, calm but serious. "Zabuza Momochi. I hoped our paths wouldn't cross again so soon." Sakura took a steady breath. "He's listed in the bingo records. A dangerous opponent." Zabuza chuckled. "You've done your homework. Impressive." Kakashi turned to his team. "Guard Tazuna. Trust each other." A thick mist rolled in, covering the area and making it difficult to see. Naruto felt his heart race but remembered Kakashi's training. Panic would help no one. Shapes moved through the fog, but Naruto focused, listening carefully instead of reacting too fast. Suddenly, a figure appeared near Tazuna, but in a blink, it vanished like water. Sasuke stood in its place, eyes sharp and focused. "I won't let anyone through." Naruto felt a surge of pride. He's grown stronger, Naruto thought. More figures formed from the mist, but they moved stiffly, like reflections instead of real people. "They're copies," Naruto said quickly. "Not the real thing." Working together, Naruto and Sasuke moved to protect Sakura and Tazuna, using speed, clever positioning, and teamwork rather than force. Sakura steadied herself, remembering her training, and stayed close to the others. Kakashi watched from a distance, relieved. His students weren't just following orders, they were thinking, adapting, and protecting one another. And for Naruto, even with strange voices and unanswered questions, one thing felt clear. He wasn't facing the future alone. As the fireball hurtled toward the water clone, Sakura leapt forward, trying to push the clone in front of it. "Nice try, little one," the clone teased. "But you're not strong enough to stop me." A small grin appeared on her face as she felt herself slipping from exhaustion. "I wasn't trying to hit you," she whispered, more to herself than to him. Meanwhile, Naruto looked up just in time to see the fireball slam into the clone's chest. The clone he had been fighting staggered but quickly recovered, giving Naruto a sly smile. "Impressive," the clone said. "You managed to take down one of us, but there are still two left. Not counting the original, of course." Before Naruto could react, two more clones swung at him with powerful punches. The blows knocked him back, and for a moment, it seemed impossible that he could stay standing. Yet somehow, he did. His Sharingan activated, scanning the battlefield, and he realized he was the only one still on his feet. Then, the last clone charged toward Tazuna. Naruto's mind raced. "I need to use my jutsu. I hope I can get there in time." Somewhere in the chaos, Kakashi had been trapped in a water prison by Zabuza. Thinking quickly, Naruto formed 4 hand seals, tiger, dragon, horse, and rabbit, and released his technique. Fire style, fire wipe jutsu. A wave of flames roared forward, striking the remaining water clones and clearing the way to Kakashi. Gathering his wind chakra in his throat, Naruto let out a mighty shout. "Wind style, Atsugai." A sharp cone of wind shot from his mouth, heading straight for Zabuza. The villain tried to dodge, but the combination of Naruto's chakra and his analytical Sharingan was too fast. The wind blast struck, knocking Zabuza off balance. Naruto stumbled forward from the effort, drenched and exhausted, but Kakashi was there to catch him. "You should always remember," Kakashi said calmly, "never underestimate any opponent, no matter how small they seem." Kakashi moved to confront Zabuza, but just as he was about to strike, a hunter nin appeared and whisked Zabuza away. Kakashi covered his Sharingan to conserve chakra and turned to Tazuna. "Let's get everyone back to your home so we can rest." Tazuna nodded, and with the help of a few shadow clones, they carefully carried Naruto back. The next morning, Naruto awoke in a soft, cozy bed. The delicious smell of breakfast wafted up from the kitchen. A gentle knock at the door interrupted his thoughts, and a cheerful voice called out. "Oh. You're awake. Breakfast is ready, come down when you're ready to eat." Naruto wondered where he was and what had happened to the rest of his team. Quietly, he got up and headed downstairs. Through the kitchen doorway, Naruto saw his team and Tazuna. Relief washed over him as he realized everyone was safe. The next task was simple: eat. "All right, everyone, listen up," Kakashi began. "Zabuza is still alive and may return once he is healed." Everyone looked puzzled, especially Naruto. "But Kakashi-sensei, there's no way he should have survived," Naruto exclaimed. "He was so badly hurt." "You're right," Kakashi admitted. "But he had an accomplice waiting in the shadows. While we're helping Tazuna finish the bridge, everyone, including you, Naruto, will be training." As everyone returned to their meals, a small boy about 8 years old quietly entered the room. He glanced around, muttered something to himself, and slipped back upstairs. "Who was that?" Sakura asked. "Oh, that's Inari, Tazuna's son," Tazuna explained. "What's his problem?" Naruto asked, mid-bite. "Naruto, don't talk with your mouth full," Sakura scolded. Tazuna continued, "He lost his father recently and has been very sad. His father was fighting against the ruler, Gato, who has made life very hard for the people here." "That's really sad," Naruto said softly. Feeling a mix of concern and determination, Naruto stood up from the table, deep in thought, and walked away without a word. Later that night, the team was resting in Tazuna's house, chatting quietly about the bridge and his homeland, the land of waves. Laughter and discussion floated through the room when suddenly, the door creaked open. Naruto stepped in, sweating, covered in burn marks, and with a few small cuts on his arms. "Naruto. What happened to you?" asked Sasuke, eyes wide with concern. "I was training," Naruto said, brushing some ash from his clothes. "I needed to blow off some energy, so I rearranged the landscape a little." Sakura frowned. "What do you mean by rearrange the landscape?" Naruto scratched his head. I was trying out a new jutsu. It didn't go as planned. More like it went wrong, a lot. But when I finally got it right, let's just say, a few trees didn't survive. The team shared a small laugh before dinner, quickly shifting their focus to the meal. Sitting at the table was Inari, looking downcast as usual. Everyone quietly took their seats, eating without speaking much. So, Tazuna, Sakura asked, how is the bridge coming along? With the village's help and the help of your team, I hope to finish it soon, Tazuna said with a hopeful smile. Don't worry, Tazuna, Naruto said, grinning from ear to ear. Me and my team will help you, and we'll protect you, too. His energy was infectious, giving the group a sense of hope. All except for one person. Why? Why do you try so hard? Inari's voice broke the silence, quieter but heavy. All that will happen is failure. Sakura's brow furrowed. Why would you think that, Inari? Because of Gato? He destroyed my father, Inari whispered. He destroyed everyone helping him. Don't you see? No one can stop him. Naruto's face hardened, and his voice grew serious. Listen, Inari. You've lost someone, yes. But you still have your family and your village looking out for you. Some of us aren't that lucky. My teammate here lost his entire family. I never knew mine. The village I come from. The very place I would give my life for. Didn't care for me. Not at first. I only survived because of my friends and a few people who believed in me. He took a deep breath, and the chakra around him shimmered as he shared his story. By the time I was 5, I survived dozens of attacks on my life. I was hurt and burned, and I've carried those marks ever since. Naruto lifted his shirt slightly, revealing the scars across his chest and arms, not to shock anyone, but to show the reality of his past. This is what it means to feel hated. Even by the ones you should trust the most, he said, his voice firm but steady. Yet I didn't give up. I refused to let it break me. So if anyone feels like their life is impossible, just remember, you're stronger than you think. Naruto stood and quietly left the room. The team fell silent. The atmosphere had changed, filled with respect, awe, and a quiet understanding. No words could erase the hardships he endured, but they all felt the weight of his courage. Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke whispered. How much of that is true? Kakashi's visible eyes softened as he looked at the team. Every word. Those scars are a reminder of the struggles Naruto has faced, and of the strength it took for him to keep going. How? How did he remain so human? Sakura asked. Most would have lost hope completely. He did try to give up once, Kakashi admitted. I found him at a very low point. He needed help, and I was able to stop him. That's why he's still here today. That's why he's the person he is, strong, kind, and unstoppable in spirit. The group quietly reflected, each of them feeling a new level of respect for Naruto. Even Inari, touched by his courage, quietly excused herself and went to her room, thinking deeply. Everyone, Kakashi said gently, let's get some rest. The team went upstairs to their rooms, each falling asleep with thoughts of bravery, friendship, and the promise of a better tomorrow. Naruto, you know you really didn't need to blow up on that boy like that, said the voice calmly. You don't get it, Naruto snapped, his fists clenching. That little brat deserved it. Who does he think he is, pretending his life is so hard? No one knows what you've been through, the voice reminded him gently. You don't trust anyone because you've been hurt before. Exactly. That's why I don't let anyone in. People always betray you. Then how do you explain your team, Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura? They care about you. When you're ready to open your eyes and see that not everyone is against you, then we can talk again. With that, the mental connection they shared faded. Naruto lay on the roof of Tazuna's house, staring at the stars as 1,000 thoughts raced through his mind. You know, Naruto, came Kakashi's voice from behind, what you did in there. Maybe it was a bit too much. You broke their table, after all. I don't care, Naruto said stubbornly. He was acting like he had the hardest life in the world, but there are people with real struggles. Not everyone has gone through what you have, Kakashi said softly. Naruto murmured, remembering the fox spirit. The fox said something similar before you arrived. Please, Naruto. Let people in. Some of them are genuinely good, and they can be trusted. Kakashi walked away, leaving Naruto to his thoughts. The stars faded as dawn approached, and the warm glow of the sun crept over the horizon, bathing Naruto's face in golden light. He stayed on the roof for a while, soaking in the morning calm before realizing how long he had been up there. Wow! It's morning already. I can even hear everyone downstairs. Dash. So, is Naruto coming down to eat? I'm not sure. He was upset and needed some time. I'm calm now. And I'm sorry about the table, Naruto called down. Oh, Naruto. There you are, came a cheerful voice. Come on, eat. Don't worry about the table, it's all fixed. Naruto sat at the newly repaired table. Breakfast was quiet but comforting. Upstairs, Inari stayed in his room, peeking out occasionally. Are they gone? He asked after some time. Yes, Inari. Why didn't you come downstairs? No. That blonde boy scares me. The others watched through the window as Naruto and his team headed toward the incomplete bridge. As they approached, thick fog rolled across the land. When the mist cleared, the bridge seemed to be covered in unconscious figures. Stay alert, Kakashi warned. Could be Zabuza. That's where you're wrong, came a deep voice. The team jumped. Zabuza appeared, leaning on one leg. I didn't do this. I'm still recovering from Naruto's wind jutsu. Well. You should have been faster, Naruto muttered. Who did this then? Kakashi asked. The one they call Striker, Zabuza said grimly. Better than I am at everything. Naruto's curiosity flared. What does Striker look like? Zabuza raised a trembling hand. That man. Right there. Before them stood a tall figure in black, face covered by a mask with no openings. His hair stood up sharply, just like Kakashi's. So, Zabuza, why haven't you finished your mission yet? The masked man's voice rang out coldly. This team is stronger than I expected. I got careless, Zabuza admitted. You're pathetic, all of you, the masked man sneered. Naruto's anger flared. Hey! You're the pathetic one. The man vanished and reappeared in front of Naruto, flicking him lightly on the forehead. Naruto flew backward, crashing through part of the bridge. Sasuke rushed forward to help him, only to be struck and sent tumbling into the river below. Naruto's clones caught him just in time. We need a plan, Sasuke shouted. I have no idea, Naruto admitted. He's too fast. Maybe if we attack from two angles, Sasuke suggested. We both have the Sharingan and we're fast enough to coordinate. Alright. Do you know any elemental dragon jutsu? Naruto asked. I know the fire dragon. You? Water dragon. Soon, we'll both know both jutsu. They quickly performed the hand seals and prepared their attacks. Let's go. Naruto and Sasuke launched their jutsu at the masked man. The water and fire dragons collided mid-air, cloaking the bridge in mist. Both teams backed up, eyes spinning with Sharingan, searching for their opponent. There, Sasuke shouted. They charged, only to find the man standing calmly, completely unharmed. You're weak, he taunted. 6 clones appeared behind him, destroyed instantly as if they'd never existed. What? How did he do that? Naruto whispered. He concentrates chakra into tiny, sharp points, Naruto's clone reported. Clever, the man said. But there's more to my jutsu. Then tell us, Naruto demanded. Where's the fun in that? The man chuckled. For every hit you land, I'll answer one question. The team squared off. Suddenly, a wall of fire erupted. Behind it stood a young boy with long red hair, dressed in black like his master. A jagged scar ran down the side of his face. His eyes were filled with sadness. He had lost hope long ago and only followed orders. So, who might you be? Kakashi asked calmly. My name does not matter. What matters is that I intend to stop you and your team right here, while Master Striker handles the other 2 youths. A powerful wave of light and sound rolled across the bridge, pushing the teams apart and leaving Naruto and Sasuke on one side, separated from the others by swirling heat and smoke that quickly faded into the air. With Naruto and Sasuke, the 3 figures faced one another, the warm glow behind them flickering like a warning rather than a threat. Tell me, the stranger said calmly, why do you stand for a place that has not always been kind to you? Sasuke stepped forward, his voice steady. Because even if people struggle to understand us, this land is still our home. It holds the memories of our families, and we choose to protect that legacy with determination and hope. The stranger turned slightly. I wasn't asking you. I was speaking to your friend. Sasuke glanced at Naruto. What does he mean? The village supports you, doesn't it? Naruto hesitated, then smiled softly. Some things are hard to explain. I kept it quiet so others wouldn't see me differently. What surprises me is how you already know. The stranger nodded. I sense energy patterns. I can feel how people are shaped by them. Your teammate has one clear path. You have more than one. Sasuke blinked. Naruto, what is he talking about? Naruto took a breath. I guess it's time to be honest. I carry a powerful spirit inside me, one that once caused great trouble. The village trusted me to protect it and to grow stronger alongside it. Sasuke stared, then gave a small smile. So what? You're still my teammate. You're one of the kindest people I know. Naruto laughed nervously. Thanks. That means a lot. The stranger folded their arms. Interesting. Let's see how well teamwork and trust truly work together. Dash. With the rest of the team. Kakashi watched the quiet figure ahead of them. So, what should we call you? As I said, the figure replied, names aren't important. Kakashi tilted his head. They are to me. It helps to know who I'm standing against. Before another word could be spoken, Kakashi moved swiftly, only to be gently halted by a wave of heat that forced him to stop and reassess. The figure sighed. All right. The name I go by is Valkyrie. Kakashi nodded. Good to know. As he stepped forward again, a pale blue shape appeared between them. It was Haku, calm and focused. I cannot allow this to continue, Haku said politely. I will speak with her. Zabuza, please stay with Tazuna and ensure everyone remains safe. Zabuza grunted but agreed, standing beside Kakashi with crossed arms. Kakashi glanced at Haku. So that's your name? Yes, Haku replied with a gentle smile. The tension on the bridge remained strong, but beneath it was something new, understanding, choice, and the possibility that strength could come from restraint rather than harm. And above all, every one of them stood fully clothed, grounded in respect, and guided by the hope of becoming better than they were before. Dash. Dear YouTube family. This is all for now. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world and keeps the content coming. Thank you for being part of this journey. Regards. 6 Path Weeb.